Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 2021 ASU Data Conference coordinated by the ASU University Technology Office. My name is Lisa King, and I am your Zoom host. I am a business analyst at the University Technology Office, have been for about 11 years. Remember to stay connected and continue the conversation in our Slack channel, hashtag ASU-data-community. And with that, we're going to start. We've already started the recording. I've got a script here. Please welcome our presenters, Paul Alvarado and Todd Kemper. And let me show you. They are presenting on Tableau tips and tricks. And here's a little bit about them. And I will turn it over to you two.
Awesome, perfect. So yeah, we'll leave. Todd and I are going to be doing a live presentation today where we're actually working out of Tableau. The dashboards that we're going to be presenting are dashboards that we've collaborated on recently, and there was so many good tricks that we went through. We wanted to share those with the community. So without any further ado, we'll go ahead and get us started because it's going to move pretty fast. We're going to record the session and then make it available afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. The first dashboard that we're going to look at today is this KPI dashboard. So this first loading page, so what this is we give this URL out to people, and because this dashboard is under development, we wanted to make some sort of like an acknowledgement page that says this is under development. And so what the user has to do is they'll click on this I understand acknowledgement, and then it will actually take them to the dashboard that has data on it. And I'm going to just show a couple of things with the navigation. So what you'll see is there's buttons down here that the user can click and get to just different views so that they can see data in different ways. There's a menu here that they can click on as well. And I'm going to talk about kind of how we did that as well when we get into the tips. So, all right. First tip is that acknowledgement button. So what we can do is you need a background, just any background. So this is a dashboard with just a custom background that we created in Figma. So all I'm going to do is use this container. It's a floating container. I'm going to make the background gray, and I'm going to change the transparency on the background to, let's just do it 80%, make it a little bit see-through. And then I'm going to grab a text box and put it in there. This is going to serve as our the text that the user will see. So under construction, this dashboard is still under construction. Want to make sure you spell it right because there is no spell check in Tableau. All right, so we have our heading. We'll just do some formatting here and then make this a little bit bigger, just a 15. So we have our message to the audience, right? And here's what we do. Here's the trick. So we're going to grab a floating navigation button. And as you can see, it just default, it says navigation. We're going to edit it. What we're going to tell Tableau is when the user clicks this button, we want to take the user to the Tempe dashboard. So you can actually jump a user to a dashboard or a worksheet. In this case, we're going to jump them to another dashboard. We're going to make an image for that. So it's the I understand. So there's a bunch of images in here. We made one that was a custom image. It was a custom button. Again, that was made in Figma. And then what we'll do is click OK. And now make this a little bit bigger. And so there's our button. So we have kind of that look. And if the user clicks on it, they're jumped to the dashboard, right? So that's tip number one. The thing with it is, if you'll notice, when you hand out the URL, you're going to want to give this URL. So this is the URL that you're going to want to hand out. When you publish, make sure that you don't publish with any tabs at the top. As you can see, I have actually an acknowledgement tab down here. So when you give out the URL, you want to point them to this, and then they'll always be taken here. They'll always have to click on that I understand button. And then again, like I was saying, a lot of the dashboard that we have here is buttons. These are all buttons. This is another navigation button, right? And again, we're just telling Tableau where to take the user. We're essentially copying this dashboard multiple times and then allowing the user to navigate around. All right, so that's those are the navigation tips. The next tip that I'm going to show you is how we get this background, this gray background behind the bars. So what the background shows is it allows the user to easily see the terms, so they're kind of separated, and I will show you how to do that. So we're going to come over here. Actually, I already have so this is what it looks like. I already have a starter without the background. All we have to do is this. So, like that. So we're just creating a bar that's always the height of 1, right? So what we're going to do now is we're going to make this a dual axis. So we're going to combine the axes. And then on that min 1 that we just created, we're going to make it fixed at a fixed height of 1. So now those bars always are going to stretch up to the very top. We're going to hide that axis. And we're not going to synchronize it because we want them to be on 2 different axes. We're going to take these colors off like that. We don't want anything on our shelf. And then we're going to change it to an area. And there you go. Now you have bars in the background. And the reason that they're partitioned by term is because we have term here in columns. So there's another tip. And then we're going to do some conditional formatting with tooltips. So if we go back to this dashboard over here, what you can see is when I hover over a circle, there are different words that are aligned with the colors that we assign those words. So done, you'll see is black, planned is maroon, and then remaining is that light gray. So when I hover over each one of these, we can see that conditional formatting. So if I go over to the worksheet to see how that's done, actually I have that here. By default, if we just put status, so that done, remaining, and planned, or that done, remaining, and planned is just the status. So by default, if I just put status in the tooltip, like this, right, we can see there's status there. By default, it's just that black color. Well, what we wanted to do is instead take that off, and we want to add these labels, and I'll show you the calculations. So all this is if the status is done, then done, right? But we're making separate ones for each of these. So if the status is bond, then we do planned, and that was just a play on words. So if I come in here now and I grab those 3 fields that I created, so done, planned, and remaining. I know that planned, I wanted that to be maroon, and you only have to click it once. You don't have to highlight the whole thing. Done, I wanted to be black, and remaining, I wanted to be this grayish color, okay? If I hit okay, now it's all formatted nice and neat. There's my black, there's my maroon, and there's my gray. So that's conditional formatting. That applies to many different things. So I have about 1 more minute. What I'm going to do is go to this. So we're going to look at a formula here. So what we wanted to do is compare week 44 to week in 21 fall to week 44 in week in 20 fall. 20 fall. Okay, so if we do the math here, what we should be doing is this 36871 minus this number, which is 54718. What we were actually doing is subtracting week 45, 67001. 001. So that gives us 30,130. That's the wrong number. What we wanted to do is actually compare week 44. So a quick, which would be right here, a quick tip is this. To get around that, what we're wanting to do is, we know that the calculation is, sorry, let me get here. And I've got my timer going off, which means it's Todd's turn, but if I can just click on this. Actually, this would probably be a good time to break because my Tableau is frozen. Yeah, I'm frozen. Uh-oh. I'm going to hand it over to Todd. Todd's going to actually, so what we were going to do is actually show you how to make a throwaway calculation, but because we can't do that, Todd's actually going to get to that anyways. So it's a good time for me to pass it off to Todd. And Todd, you're muted, I think.
So here we should be seeing this another dashboard. Yeah, thanks, Paul. So this is a dashboard that's actually being presented in another presentation in the data conference right now. This is a training catalog that's been created, different resources, different recorded sessions. So the idea was to come up with skills, products, module name, and show like a badge for the different persona levels. And then if we had a slide, a video, or a PDF to give you some context here. So here's the dashboard. You'll see that we have like an icon for those that have a PDF. We have the different badges for the different levels. We have an icon for the video. It shows a synopsis, and then we have like a slide link here. You can go to the slides, you can go to the PDF. It's a quick way to go through the training catalog. So how do we get there? So the big thing here is the data is set up and to show, yes, it has a data citizen. Yes, it has a data apprentice, or no, or it's null. It does have a link to a slide, a video, or PDF. So some of it is going to be throwaway, doing like a 1 or a 0. Now, if you come in here, you'll see a lot of these axes up here, and we're going to try to get to all this stuff. Big thing here for the 1 or the 0 to be able to put an icon or not is I created a field called has PDF. Really, I came in here, just checked to see if that field that was a document link PDF in the data set, if it was null. If it was, then give me a 0, otherwise give me a 1. I put that in here on the shape, and what does that do? That's this field here. That's that PDF axis. Now, if I go to shape, I see 0 or 1, and I'm giving it a shape in these custom shapes that I've added for UTO training. And there's a blank for the 0, then I assign this PDF icon for 1. How did I do that? Well, there's a folder on your documents, my Tableau repository, shapes. Then I made a folder called UTO training. You saw that in the list. Here's a list of the things that were in there. Here's a blank transparent box we created. And then that PDF file, PDF icon with the transparent background. So we had all these little icons in here, and we were able to bring those in. We see has PDF, we see has slides, same thing, has video, same thing. A quick tip for that. So if we're going to do the same thing over and over, I can take the same thing, right click it, duplicate it. Now I have another has PDF, edit. I'm going to change it to has slides. Got the formula logic down correctly. And then just what is this, change this field here to, I'm not sure what the slides field is, but if I start typing slides, oh, there's a slides link. Now I have the same field for slides. Another quick way, if I don't know if it's correct, I already have a field in here. It's going to tell me I have the field name this, I put a space at the end. I have a second field. So now I can troubleshoot. So as I move along, I have those 0s and 1s. You can see I've added it to the shape. I have citizen, I have apprentice, I have video. I'm doing the same thing here, put the video in the shape, got a 0 with a blank, got a 1 with the video icon. So how did I set that up? So we could set up a new sheet. We see we have skills, products, module name. Okay, let's search for the field, skills. Oh. Product. Module name. So that's kind of the basic setup we had from before. So now you notice there were a lot of axes, a lot of 0s and 1s. And a similar tip that Paul had shown, min 1, now I have an axis. I want to do a second one, min 1. I want to make a dual axis. So now they're stacked on top of each other. So I can come in here. So I've created that. That has PDF field I created. This is 0 or 1. I'm going to drag it over to, let's see first, I want to make this into shapes. make both axes into shapes. I'm not worried about color. I'm going to drag this onto shape. Go to shape. It's already assigned as we did before. You see the PDF icon and the 0 and the 1. Put it on the other axis. Drag the color off. We have the PDF axis. I can play with the sizing however I'd like to see fit. The next thing is, oh wow, this doesn't look good. I can edit the axis. Let's change the name. This is PDF, right? And then I want to get rid of those tick marks because we're really just faking it out. It's not really an axis. It's just playing a placeholder. The bottom one, we don't want to see at all. We come in there, get rid of the whole title. And we don't want to see any tick marks. Last thing here is, oh, but now we got all these lines. It's kind of hard to read. It distracts from what you're really trying to say. So we're going to come get rid of all these lines. The 0 lines, the grid lines. So they're gone. And then there's some borders here we want to get rid of. Go to sheet. No border lines. Now we have our axis. So we start off with the PDF. Now let's say we wanted to start doing that again. You'll see something I'm about to lead into, another min 1. We're going to do it again because we're just going to duplicate that whole idea. Dual axes. Oh, now before we go any further, see, now what if I want to start updating later? I got all these min 1s, which one's which? That can get confusing. So we want to come in here, a quick tip, we can do a temporary name, do a // this is going to be video axis. And then a shift enter. Now I have a dummy name up here. This doesn't even exist. It looks like a field. It's not really a field over to the right. And take this off, but I can. Let's say I like this video axis. I'm going to drag it down here. Now it is a field. You see, I've done it before, but now it is a field in my data set. I can use it again later. I can drag this out, put it right next to it, dual axis. Now I have another video axis. And then when I come down this, you see on the original, I have so many, but now at least when I'm trying to edit later, I can now go to the axis I'm trying to update instead of trying to pick and choose. So now the video axis updated that. So again, what I was doing here, I can control click, drag another one over here. There's another video axis, it's duplicating. Or now that I've created this video axis and it does what I want, again, duplicate. Let's say rename. This is going to be the slides axis. It's really just a min 1. I already have one existing, so just for the purpose of the video, put a space after it. If you open it up, it's really just a min 1 temporary. There's that name that we created. It gives us, you can add notes into fields this way as well. Now I have slides axis. I can drag it out, control click, drag it next to it, right click, dual axis. Now I have another one. So I come back to video axis. I had the video field. Has video, putting it on the shape. Oh, it didn't work, but I can come in here, make it discrete. The other video axis, make sure it's all the same. And discrete's just so it's 0, 1, so it doesn't do math. Now look, it's all these nulls, they're all really there, but they're blanks. So those white fields we created, and there's the one video icon. You get the slides. Slides, same thing. We're gonna grab has slides, drag it out, change it to discrete. Has slides, change it to discrete. Now we have what we were doing out there. I can come in here. Now that we did those names, they're actually already updated on the axis. I could have named them correctly. I could, or however I wanted to see fit. I can come in here, just change it to video. Done. Tick marks. Get rid of the tick marks. Cleaned it up. Go to the other axis. Get rid of it completely. And none, none. And they're gone. So that's a quick way. We've duplicated fields, we removed lines, we formatted the axis, we dual axis, we want to synchronize the axis. And that's the big tip for the day. We went through and we basically made this whole dashboard, just duplicating that same effort over and over and over. And we'd have true falses, but there's 0s and 1s, and then we assign them icons. And then within the tooltips, there's a link. I can go to the actual file itself. Again, you can download this video when it's done, go through it slowly. If you have specific questions, get a hold of us later.
Okay, back to me.
Back to you.
All right.
We had more tips. We're trying to fit as many as we could in the 20 minutes.